잘 써. 다시 가야 되나 얘한테?
Hello, Captain.
Baxter, what brings me the displeasure?
Gotta go, sir.
Get out
아이템.
of my office!
Here is
Yeah.
the authorization with Mrs. Vanderbilt's signature on it. Can I talk to the accused now?
Ugh. Fine by me. Do what you must. Here, show this to McMahon at the entrance to the holding cells. And now, get out!
성격이 좋으시네.
Here you go. A signed approval by Captain Pearson.
Very well, sir. You may enter.
Thanks. Looks like somebody mopped up around here. The water in the bucket is mixed with some chlorine agent. Smells like an indoor swimming pool.
여학교.
Walter Vanderbilt. Instantly recognizable. Hello, Mr. Vanderbilt.
Did Roy send you?
Who is Roy?
Roy Lieberman, my lawyer. And who are you?
My name is Baxter. I'm a private investigator. Your mother hired me to help you. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
And I'd love to answer your questions if I didn't have such a horrid migraine.
Would you like some aspirin? Should I call for a doctor?
No, it's this awful smell of chlorine in the air.
Hello, Mr. Vanderbilt.
Please, Mr. Baxter, not so loud. My head is about to explode.
Would you answer some questions?
That awful smell of chlorine. Ugh, my head.
I'll put the bucket out in the hallway.
이런 것도 해줘야 돼?
How is that supposed to work?
사용할 수도 있지 뭐.
Even if I wanted to, I can't reach him through the prison bars. Hello, Mr. Vanderbilt.
Mr. Baxter?
What can you tell me about the murder of Dr. Bedford?
Nothing, seeing that I wasn't there when it happened.
So you insist on being innocent?
Of course I insist.
Mr. Vanderbilt, it's my job to help you. But I can only help you if you tell me the complete truth. No omissions. No distortion of the facts.
I'm very aware of my situation, Mr. Baxter. I don't have any reason to lie.
Where were you at the time of the murder?
In my apartment. I was sleeping.
Were you alone?
I'm afraid so. There are no witnesses.
What was your argument with the doctor all about?
Bedford was just a terrible person. He deceived us all into giving him our trust, and then abused it in such a shameful way.
I presume you're talking about the severed engagement with Denise.
Exactly. How he used her. How he ridiculed us all. And that in front of the whole family. In front of the other country club members. After all I did for him by arranging his membership. Denise was inconsolable. She was in shock. Helpless. Crushed. That man... That impertinent, arrogant, scalpel-wielding brute. It's all his fault.
Did you threaten him?
I cursed him. I wanted to make him feel the shame and despair he caused Denise and the rest of us. But I did not kill him.
Were you in Bedford's practice the night of the crime?
No.
Then why were your fingerprints all over the crime scene?
Well, I was in his practice, but not the night he was murdered.
When were you there?
The night before. One day before the murder.
What were you doing there?
I wanted Bedford to talk, of course. On Sunday, he dissolved the engagement and simply abandoned my sister. No reason, no justification. He humiliated us in front of all our friends. I wanted to hear from his mouth how he dared do such a thing.
What did he say?
Nothing. He couldn't give any reason at all. Nothing but excuses and pure drivel.
It would be better for Denise. Surely I'd understand.
All that jazz. That arrogant swine. How could it be better for Denise to be let down so heartlessly?
What did you do then?
I left.
Just like that?
Well, no. Maybe I threatened him again. I remember that I grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and shook him. I don't know anymore. I was frantic. but I did not kill him.
Any guess as to what might explain the doctor's behavior?
Maybe.
Yes.
Listen, I don't want Denise to hear about this. She's been through enough already. So I'm asking you to keep this quiet.
So what's your theory?
Another woman. When I came into the practice to talk to Bedford, his assistant had already left. He was alone in his office and occupied with a phone call.
A patient, maybe?
Not at that hour, no. He was enraged and raised his voice. It sounded like an argument.
What was it about?
I didn't catch. He hung up just as soon as I entered his office. His last words on the phone were that he didn't want to see the other person ever again, and that they should stay out of his life for good.
Do you know who the other person was?
No.
Well, enough about the murder. On to something else.
Yes?
So, how are you holding up here in prison?
Awful. The accommodations are far below what I'd call sanitary. The food hardly deserves to be called food. I couldn't even give it to the rats with a clear conscience. Not to mention the company around here.
The holding cell is no country club, sure. On the other hand, there's no obligation to wear a tie here.
Very amusing, Mr. Baxter.
I have to go.
Goodbye, Mr. Baxter.
통화의 역사. 통화의 역사라.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Al.
Sam, can you give me a list of all the phone calls made to and from Bedford's practice?
One step ahead of you, Al. As always, here's a list of all phone calls over the last few weeks. These are just the area codes, though. It'll take a while to get a complete list of numbers with associated persons.
Thanks, Sam. I'll be going then, Sam.
Take care, Al. Don't be a stranger.
The list of phone calls made to and from Dr. Bedford's practice during the last month. It's worth noting that there were several calls made to him after 11 p.m. in the week before his death, all from Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I've only got the area code here, not the complete number, let alone an address.
완자기로.
All of Dr. Bedford's patients apparently came from the Los Angeles area, and all from within a radius of about 30 miles. Except for a Mrs. Farrow, who resides in Las Vegas. She's the only one who's not from Los Angeles. Las Vegas. According to the list, the doctor repeatedly received calls from Las Vegas just before his death. What's more, the calls came in at very late hours. This can't be a coincidence. I should have a closer look at this Mrs. Farrow. I'd better take her file with me.
페로.
This is Madame Farrow's patient file from Dr. Bedford's office. It says here that her last treatment was 8 months ago. Nothing since then. The file also lists her address. Las Vegas. She seems to be Dr. Bedford's only patient outside of Los Angeles. I guess I'll pay a visit to this Madame Farrow then. I've always wanted to visit Vegas.
뭐야? 어잉?
The lockers here don't have any keys, only combination locks. I suppose too many people lost the keys, or gambled them away. No, I don't need a locker. I don't have anything of value on me anyway.
잠깐만.
glass terminal extends far into the airport. I can't fly away yet. I've got some unfinished business here. Public phones. These here actually work, which makes them rare specimens of their kind. Who should I call?
Vanderbilt residence, good evening.
Good evening, Mrs. Vanderbilt. This is Anna Baxter.
Mr. Baxter, how pleasant of you to call. How is the investigation progressing?
It's coming along. Right now, I'm following a lead in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas? Mr. Baxter, you're supposed to get my Walter out of prison, not to engage in gambling at my expense.
I assure you, this is not a leisure trip.
I certainly hope so. Have you unearthed anything yet?
I have reason to believe that one of Dr. Bedford's patients is somehow involved in his death. I'll report to you right away once I have further insight.
Very well, please hurry. I can't even bear to think what my Walter is going through in prison.
How are you and your daughter?
All our hopes rest on you, Mr. Baxter. Please hurry with your investigation.
I have to go. Goodbye, Mrs. Vanderbilt.
Goodbye, Mr. Baxter.
Who should I call?
쌤.
Detective Angstrom, LAPD. What can I do?
Hello, Sam. It's me, Al.
Hey, Al. How's your investigation going?
I'm making good progress. Thanks to the phone call list you gave me, I discovered a hot lead in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, huh? You lucky devil. Always ending up in the most exciting places. Why can't your lead take you to Alaska or the Sahara for once?
Are there any new developments?
Nothing that you would be interested in, no.
As if you knew what I would be interested in.
I've known you for 20 years now, Al. I might even know you better than you know yourself.
Have you gotten the exact numbers and addresses of the phone calls?
Not quite. That'll take a while longer.
I gotta go. See you, Sam.
See you later, Al.
마담 빼로. 마담이구만.
Tonight, Madame Ferrot and her very charming dance troupe, plus the annual blackjack tournament, chock-a-block program. The Royal Flush presents Madame Ferrot and her enchanting troupe of dancers. Let her breathtaking vocal power blow you away. The performance will guarantee an unforgettable evening. A once-in-a-lifetime experience exclusively at the Royal Flush. The dancer on the poster looks just like the girl over there on the sidewalk.
리무진.
There are several luxury limousines in front of the casino. Seems to be one of the better establishments. I'd rather use a taxi than a stolen limousine. A drain on the sidewalk. Pretty deep, too. There's something down there, but can't really identify it. I can't lift the cover with my bare hands. I can't get a good grip on it. I'd need the right tools. A metal hook or something like that. Besides, the cover is fixed with screws. One of the dancers from the casino. Good evening. Can I help you in any way?
Oh, yes, please, Mr.
Baxter.
I'm Lola. Pleased to meet you. Maybe you can help me.
You look like you're searching for something.
Yes, that's right. I tripped on the steps a little while ago, and one of my contact lenses fell out. Unfortunately, it fell right down the drain you're standing on.
And you can't reach the lens with your fingers.
No, I've tried everything. Besides, I can hardly see without it.
I'll see what I can do.
Oh, thank you.
Do you know where I can find Madame Ferrot?
You can admire her on stage tonight. Oh, I hope I find my contact lens before then.
I'd like to talk to Madame Ferrot in private. Do you know where I can find her?
She has a suite right here at the hotel, but you'll probably have to wait until after the show. Madame Ferrot usually doesn't receive visitors so soon before a performance.
I gotta go. See you later.
See you later.
Hello? Anybody down there?
I can't lift the cover with my bare hands. I can't get a good grip on it. I need the right tools. A metal hook or something like that. Besides, the cover is fixed with screws.
I saw the look you gave that girl at the Paradiso.
That girl was a guy, dear.
조직근로니.
He reminds me of someone.
Could you have gaped any more obviously at the dancer outside?
I was looking at the performance posters, dear.
She reminds me of someone. They seem to be engaged in conversation. I don't want to bother them if I don't have to.
I saw the look you gave that girl at the Paradiso.
That girl was a guy, dear.
He's not my type.
왜 쿡 안 해요?
Who is this Louise that's calling all the time?
She's my accountant.
Good evening.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
I'm here to see Madame Ferraud.
Très bien, monsieur. May I reserve 2 seats for you, or will you be without company?
Oh, no, I meant I want to talk to Madame Ferraud.
I'm afraid that won't be possible, monsieur. Madame Ferraud does not give autographs.
I don't want an autograph either. I need to speak to her in person. It's urgent.
Madame Ferraud is in her penthouse preparing for the show. She will not receive any visitors, monsieur. If you speak to her assistant, you might get an appointment next week.
How do I get to the penthouse?
You don't, monsieur. Our luxury suites are only accessible by elevator, and only with a special key. I'm afraid you'll have to make an appointment with Madame Ferraud.
May I borrow the elevator key for a moment?
No, monsieur, that is out of the question.
One of your dancers is standing outside on the pavement looking for her contact lens. She's desperate. Don't you want to go outside and give her a hand?
I am indispensable here, monsieur. I'm sure someone will help you.
Who's the lovely couple over there?
George and Julia Ocean, very loyal guests of ours.
They seem to be arguing about something.
Oui, monsieur. I just hope they won't get any louder, or else I'll have to go over there. Please do not get me wrong. I have high regard for the Oceans, but I would not want to trade places with Monsieur Ocean. Madame Ocean is very jealous. A breathtaking woman with a great temper. Even the slightest suspicion, and she'll explode.
I see. May I borrow the elevator key for a moment?
No, monsieur, that is out of the question.
Too bad. Well, never mind.
Oui.
Goodbye.
Au revoir, monsieur.
쭉.
Firecrackers. I assume these are put into the slot machines so the eventual winner gets a light show. Let's see. I'll throw a quarter in.
고잉.
A one-armed bandit. One of thousands in Las Vegas. He's deeply engaged in his work on the slot machine. I'd better leave him to his work.
And what about Rosalie?
She's my mother.
요거 오케이.
The cover is screwed on tightly. I need to
Nice.
loosen it first.
우.
How is that supposed to work?
And what about Rosalie?
She's my mother.
And what about Rosalie?
She's my mother.
First, to the 10th floor. You need a key to get to the penthouse. I need the key to get to the penthouse.
오케이. 그러면
Who is this Louise that's calling all the time?
She's my accountant.
Excuse me? Hokum.
You gave that waitress's derriere quite a good look.
I was looking at the menu. She just happened to be standing there.
Good evening.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
May I borrow the elevator key for a moment?
No, monsieur, that is out of the question.
I'm from the Bureau of Resort Security, and I need to inspect your elevators for any hazards.
Do you have any kind of ID, monsieur?
Of course I have. Here's my... Oh, I just realized I left my ID in my other pants. Anyway, I'll need the elevator key for my inspection.
I'll have to ask you to leave, monsieur. You're disturbing the other guests.
May I borrow the elevator key for a moment?
No, monsieur, that is out of the question.
Behind you! A three-headed monkey!
I can't believe this.
You better believe it. Look behind you!
No, I meant I can't believe that you would resort to using such an overused cliché, monsieur.
May I borrow the elevator key for a moment?
No, monsieur, that is out of the question.
Fire! There's a fire in the casino! Run and get some help!
Please, calm down, monsieur. We have an excellent fire extinguishing system.
But don't you smell the smoke?
The only thing I can smell here is your desperation. I'll have to ask you to leave, monsieur. You're disturbing the other guests.
Goodbye.
Au revoir, monsieur.
요
Who is this Louise that's calling all the time?
She's my accountant.
아, 요 폭죽을 어떻게 하지?
You gave that waitress's derriere quite a good look.
I was looking at the menu. She just happened to be standing there.
Those are some of the firecrackers from the Royal Flush Casino. Used to fill up the one-armed bandits. Standard firecrackers, such as you'd find them on every schoolyard.
You gave that waitress's derriere quite a good look.
I was looking at the menu. She just happened to be standing there.
Many have tried to improve their chances by sweet-talking the machine. I'm not the superstitious type, though.
Could you
뭐야,
have
이거?
gaped and